Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Hope you're having a wonderful day. I am feeling just a little bit tired, but that usually happens after a shopping day, so... Oh. Ah. I had a lot of fun at the event this weekend. It really exhausted me, which is why there's no stream on Monday. And then Tuesday was shopping day, which was another reason we didn't do a stream on Monday, which kind of put off a whole lot of stuff. Like my whole reaction to CitizenCon, which was happening during the show. I will get to my reactions, but I think I'm going to wait till Sunday when we're actually going to have a full stream that we can dedicate to that and have some fun with it. Tonight, we're going to get back into World of Warcraft programming, which is literally what we did on the last stream, but I've been working on it since then. So let's go quickly over some of the changes. So I actually need to look at my change list here because I've done a lot of work. Let's see. Well, let's start with this. I don't know how well you can see this. I actually went through and I added in all of the chunk names. The ones that are not commented are ones we are absolutely going to need for one item or another. And the ones that are commented out, I added in case we decide we want them. Some of them are game-specific only. Some of them may come up. It's completely dependent on how things go. This is just the root file, though. I did the same thing to the group header, which is right here. And let me move that into the proper spot. And you can see all these. Now, some of these are a little weird, and some of them are used only for the alpha, and some of them, deal with things that happen in real time. So most of them are probably not going to be used. Map object tangent array. Yeah, we probably could use that. I just don't know if we need to. Map object batch shadows. Probably not going to need that. Now, the one of these that I am looking at very closely, but probably aren't going to need it, terrain cutting planes. That just looks interesting. And then there's all the stuff for lights, and apparently they added light sets later on, but that'll be nice. Node a BSP tree used for collision to see if the player is inside the WMO. I felt like that one might be useful, in case people want to use it, not the polygons for collision. But, there's no guarantee that will have anything useful to us in it. So, yeah, I went through, I kind of, I'm reading my notes over here. I went through, I just kind of defined all these. I fixed a couple of bugs, it looks like. I added a couple of things to the WoW asset. Basically, let's see. We go back to WoW asset. Here we are. I added source path. This is hopefully going to be something that we find useful, but won't be, blow our socks off kind of helpful. It's just a nice to have, and hopefully it will be useful. Actually, now that I think about it, probably will be useful. That's why we're actually saving it, even if it's not visible. Because that's going to help us, when we do have to do reloading later on with all the, sub-objects and everything. Let's see. Oh, yeah. I went into the root header. Or was it the header chunk? I think it was the header chunk. Went through and I, added the bounding box and got that to actually work. And actually, no, that's not where I wanted it. It's probably under WoW asset. Yeah, here it is. Here you can see I did a whole bunch of little works, like has all the, does it have all the flags? Here I added the bounding box and the scaled bounding box, just like we did with the ADTs. I figured, that could be useful for something. I don't know what, but we could find it useful. Maybe we want to check on... Is there something underneath there? That's weird. And let's see. Migrated... Oh, yes. I migrated. I have this WoW asset that I have been working on. It's basically I decided, just to make things easier on us, let's put all of the commonly used, functions and necessary items into something called WoW asset. This is basically our parent object that has all the same basic stuff. Like they'll all have WoW version. They'll all have a source file name and source path, set file name, load from data, and get mesh data. All of which, all of our models and stuff are going to need this. So it just felt simple to have a uniform, asset that we could use, basically everywhere. And so, I spent some time and I, modified the WDT and the ADT to use this format. Added categories. Oh yes. I went through the actor, and actually let's go through the header for the actor. And I added a little bit of categories for some of the variable. Wait, is that? Oh, no. In here, in the ADT asset, I actually went through and, right here. I added categories so everything will have, when we open it up, it'll look a lot better and, more organized, and, it's easy to see where all this information is. I did the same thing with the WDTs, but there really wasn't anything there to do. I mean, it's, I basically just left it all options. I mean, I could rename these flags. That wouldn't be bad. But, they probably need to be restyled. But, that was, one of the big things that I did. And then I realized I really want to work on the WDTs, or the WMOs, but that's something I kind of want to do with you guys. So, I decided to refocus my efforts that would happen off stream onto another file format that we would need. And it's a good thing I did it off stream, because dear God, was I pounding my head against it for, let's see, over a week. Almost exactly a week. It spent me almost a week to get it to a state where I am ready to show you guys what it is. So let's load up the project, and I'll show you what it does, because I just finished a little bit of functionality to help me with it. Let's take a look. I'm sure some of the eagle-eyed of you with high-resolution screenshots and stuff will be able to see what's going on, but, most of you probably won't. So here we are. We're back in the world. I did make a few changes, I should mention, like to version. We now have content paths, so we can actually say, hey, I want all of the vanilla files to go under WoW Vanilla 01 Vanilla, which, is right there. Actually, something I noticed is I misspelled this. Should be WoW with 2 there. There we go. Let's make sure these are... Nope. That one wasn't right. Well, this one. That one's not right. What the heck? Well, the file formats are actually correct because I manually moved some assets. But, that's not the important part. The important part is we'll come here to vanilla. And, we have our ADTs, and it has its texture list and all that good stuff. And we come down here, and it's still, that, default texture, except for this, which I think is actually giving me some sort of error. I'm not certain. I just see a big line of red with call stacks talking about texture streaming, so I'm assuming that has something to do with it. Maybe when we rebuild our own water system, that'll go away. Here's what I want to show you. Here, let me actually, I'll move up here. Keep your eye on these folders. This is the vanilla asset folder. I'm going to come here and click Generate Landscape. Did you see what happened? New folder showed up. We go in there. 2 new folders. Let's go into Elwyn. Hey, would you look at that? All of the textures loaded. I have been pounding my head against getting BSP or BLPs to import. natively import World of Warcraft textures into Unreal Engine. And I just finished writing the function to automatically import them based on the files that you have. So we can actually import the textures. I am so happy about that. Building that functionality was really one of the hardest things to do. And I honestly don't know why I had to pound my head against it for so long. Probably because there's no tutorials on it at all. Nobody expects you to write a new texture format to import into Unreal Engine, apparently. I had to, well, first of all, I had to do the really hard part of figuring out how to read a BLP file. And I need music because it's kind of hurting my ears not to have anything in the background. I had to figure out how to read a BLP file. I had most of the code from Project Stormwind. The problem was, apparently I had that code wrong. So I had to figure out how to do that. I then had to find a copy of LibSquished that I could, basically build into the plugin, and how to do that. And that was something interesting altogether too, because I ended up just including the code, and it compiles natively with the plugin. Oh god. And then the hard part, after I've decoded all of that, I need to convert it from the decoded BLP information into a format that would be accepted by Unreal Engine. I had partial success with Targa files. Some textures would import, some would not, and it was driving me nuts on why they wouldn't. So I decided to abandon that and try BLPs, thinking, hey, it's a simpler format. It should be easier to import. Nope, it was worse. I didn't have any success with that. At that point, I said, fuck it. I blew away all the BMP file formats, went back to Targa, which was half fixed, figured out what was wrong, and fixed it. And somewhere in there, I found out that I had incompleted. I had not done the decoding completely. So there were some of the reasons that some weren't working was that they weren't reading all the data correctly. So that's what's been going on, for the last 2.5, feels like weeks. No, it was only about a week. Fighting to get all that code to work, getting the textures to read as targas for Unreal Engine, and then figuring out how to automatically import them when you import, your landscape assets. Or in this case, you click the Create Landscape button, and it imports all the textures for you. I probably need to go through and double check that, have it go through and make sure that the files are actually, if they don't exist. But let's take a quick look at these textures now that they've completed their work. There we go, up there. As you can see, we can come in here, double click, and this is the texture as it is imported from the BLP files. It's been decoded and converted over. We could make some changes here if we wanted, but we don't have any real changes to make. And these are all the assets that are needed for this one tile. Now, the good news about doing all this terrible work is very slowly all of the assets we need will be automatically imported into here. And even though we have this imported into vanilla WoW, we can come out here to this Wrath of the Lich King version. And because we have our version things all set up correctly, it will read the correct directories and import into here. So if I go into the Wrath of the Lich King folder, hit Create Directory, you can see it just imported all those textures we needed, But it also, imported some of the duskwood grass texture, which you would need for over here, because, there's just a little bit of duskwood right there. Now, that is all based on, having different versions of WoW in the same folders, basically. Normally, you'd probably only import one version of WoW, and, let that be it. Yeah, we might, have something to say about that later, but, the first thing I want to do is get that water fix for Wrath of the Lich King. But, not today. I think what we need to do is actually get back into trying to get WMOs imported. So, was it WMO or WMOs? Honestly, don't remember. WMO. That's actually lowercase, but screw it. Alright. Azeroth buildings. Wait a second. Place WMOs. Okay, it's just the placeholder. If we write the new blueprint, that would actually solve some issues. Alright, nope. Alright, so, it was buildings? Yes. And then Goldshire Inn. Our test file. Alright, let's import this and see what happens. Wrath of the Lich King. Import. It's got a whole bunch of data. And you can actually see here that it's, kind of sorted. So, we've got our, the source data, which has, where it comes from. It gives us the WoW version, which you actually change up if need be. But, that doesn't really change how we've already read the data. It just changes how we read the data going forward. Number of textures, the groups, num lights. Get all these numbers. Ambient color. I think you've seen all this stuff, happen, but it's nice it's actually sorted into these categories. So we got header information. So there's the exact one. Then you can see all the flags, and then I did a number of other things in advance that you don't really need. Like, we're not really going to need the bounding boxes, but I have them there. Number of LODs. That's nice because that's not going to show up anytime soon. Material data, right now we're just storing the textures, and we probably could just import these if we wanted. But, it might actually behoove us to have a function, import textures at the top. Why don't we? That seems very simple. And I was actually thinking ahead when I wrote the function for importing a texture. It's a utility function. So I can call it from pretty much anywhere. So, WMO asset. Let's create a new... Okay, that's the group information. Here's this. So, view function. Call in editor. I was trying to actually get the group name files to go into the group name, which is a so that it would actually display the group name. So, if we come down here to group names, you see index, and it would have the name here, where, this would be Hall. So this would say Hall, but for some reason it never worked. I tried like 5 different things. It just never worked. But you can see, okay, this group is the upstairs. There's no descriptive name. We got a bounding box for it. We got the group ID. It has a BSP tree. It has vertex colors, no lights. It has doodads. And it doesn't have any of this other stuff. You know, these are all the flags. I mean, it should be broken down into flags, into sections here, but apparently it doesn't work that way. And then doodad data, we have all the doodads. And yeah, at some point when we get M2s working, we'll actually be able to import these. So I'm just gonna let's see, save all. Yeah, let's save Goldshire. Close. Don't save that. That's fine. I just want the textures. Copy this and put this into the ADT asset as well. Alright, so import. What was the exact thing again? Import texture. Actually, that should be textures. Import textures to path. Texture list. WoW version. There we go. And that's it. That's all we have to do. We could add a check in here. But, that's more than sufficient. Texture names? I guess so. WoW version. Alright, and ADT actor. See, import textures to path. It's actually starting to bug me now. Instead of names, texture list. I like texture list better, I guess. Let's just replace all. Current document, yes. Only 2. That makes sense. Yep. Alright. That should be all we need to do. And now to compile. I mean, we could actually, put in some checks. We can get the returned items from here because it actually does return the assets. So there is that. But, just having it automatically just import the textures, that's just an easy. Oh, what the? Are we? No, we fragmenting once, yeah. Oh, oh, wait. I think I know what I did wrong. I think I know what all I did wrong. No. Okay, what the hell? Oh. I had to change that name. There we go. Ah! No. Ah! It's probably too late. I keep hitting, rebuild all sometimes. Oh well. So I basically wrote the function twice. First I wrote import texture to path that will do a single file, that we need, for, textures. And then I wrote the improved one, which is import textures to path, which will actually go through and find all of the textures that use, in the given list that uses the specific, content destination path. All the ones that use that destination path will then be added to a list, and then it will just go through each destination path and dump and import the textures into that folder. The reason for that is that there's actually a import system that does it in a batch, and it's a little bit faster. I actually did, for a brief moment, import them each individually like this, and it took a significantly more time. Granted, we're talking fractions of a second, but this was just like it imported them all in about I want to say 1/8 of a second, and this imported them in about half a second to a full second. I mean, you saw how quickly this one imported that one, all the textures for that, for those maps. There we go. All built. Ah, the Sindorai. So sad. Alrighty. So now, I should be able to come here to Azeroth. And we're going to come here. Open up this file. Why? Because it's the same one we do. Yeah, there we go. Import textures. And let's hit that. And that just imported all of the textures. So all the tile sets. Alright, that's good. Let's do the same with this. Oh. Re-import. What? I gotta work on the re-import functions. That's what happens when you rename something like that. You gotta re-import assets. There we go. Now there's 23 assets. Let's save this and import textures. Look at that. There's, dungeons have been imported textures. Brick. Ceiling. Combos. Decorations. And, you look at this and it's just, this is exactly what it is. It's literally imports all this just perfectly. I'm so proud. Although it looks like none of these have... oh, that one has an alpha. I was about to say, how many of these have an alpha? Alright, that one's using it for specularity. Alright, let's save all. There we go. So that will be nice. It makes it a little bit easier to import the textures, but we can also tell it to do that when we generate a WMO, which is probably what we should work on next. All right, close that, close that, close that. All right, so I guess that means we got to work on the blueprints. So, especially with if we look at how the game works, in terms of assets, technically, yes, all of these ADT files are a blueprint, but we are using a C++ actor to basically handle all of that. What we now need to do is to create an object that we can effectively blueprint and then be able to change in here. So what we would do is we would have these, C++ written blueprints, and we'll I suppose the first thing to do is actually prototype one and then convert it over. But we want that we want the base one to then be parented to use to create the WMO one, which will then automatically be created by all the things here. So where we have create landscape, place WMOs, or actually no, we want in here we'll have a button, create blueprint. And what that will do is import, it'll create a blueprint that is specifically for this file. But, we also need to do stuff like, generate mesh. So, maybe we should focus on that first. It would be nice to, build the mesh for this guy. Of course, building the blueprint and then be able to generate the mesh from that. I don't know. Would we want the blueprint to be able to generate the mesh, much like the ADT file actor, does that? So we need a WMO actor, or do we have it, generate the mesh automatically? Maybe not automatically, but we have it generate it with the asset. One thing we have to do is, right click, create blueprint, or create mesh. Or we could double click and, create mesh. Hey, we also wanted to, right click and create blueprint. We also have to read more data from here, like, this is just a list of the doodads. We now have to get the data for the doodad sets. We also need to pick out the data for the actual doodad placement itself. So, and there's 900 of them to do here. So I want to work on the mesh. So the question is, do we do it like we did with the ADTs, where we have a placeable actor that we can then either create a blueprint from, or or do we have it that you can generate the static mesh from the source data? Either way, we need to get the source. We need to get the actual information into the source data. I think each group file is going to have its own everything it needs to make the triangles. All right, so that's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to focus on building we're going to focus on getting all the texture, not the texture, but the indices and polygons. There we go. That's what we need to work on. So I think probably the first thing to do is actually for me to open up Project Stormwind and see where I left off. That's weird. All right. All right, what was the chunks I needed? Probably PL, all right. All right, PY is material information. So VI and VT with VX a little bit later. So VT and VI. Copy, paste. Generate. All right. Here we are. So this is how I used to do it. All right. All right. Let's start with VI. No point in doing anything else other than working on the data. And it looks like it's pretty much just a bunch of indices. All right, TRA, you ent 32. Indices. You know what? Let's just make this exactly what it is. All right. Include. Why does it keep freaking doing that? I don't want to do that. For minimal. .h. Leading movie chunk data. All right, the group's vertex indices from the group's vertex list. What? No, you definitely need that, but interesting. Oh, okay, so it's doing... Okay. Is that icy? It's that index. No, it's not. All right, I misspelled it. Gotcha. Perfect. All right, we need to push, push, push. Traveling knife, the traveling knife for me. All right, get value. You went 16. And that's just data num. Yeah. All right. I guess include utilities. Identifier offset, huh? You mean that? Well, that should be sufficient. That should be exactly what we need. If data num equals 0, return. Yes, perfect. I don't get why you're having a problem with this. Variable tchar is not a type name. What? Screw it. It's probably going to work. Oh, it will probably work. I think. A few more tests. Alright. Yep, VI. Watch P, GN. Where is GN? I'm not even seeing GN. Wait a second. Oh, right there. Okay. Put that at the end then. All right, so found movie. Movie chunk. Movie chunk. Read data. There we go. Now, they come in here. Need to come into here actually first. I suppose. You know, I think I want to switch this up to UNT32s. So let's come back here and make this UNT32. Then we're going to get the value of a UNT16, but then we'll push it up and into one for 32s. So it will upscale the numbers, which will be useful later, because we're actually going to get another one that's effectively, literally the same code, but 32-bit. Suddenly felt something go into my mouth. I was like, oh dear God, did I swallow a fly? No, it was an ice cube. Confused me and scared me for a moment. Okay, I am actually going to come in here. Found movings. So this, I just want to know if we find it. Okay, yeah, I'm actually going to come over here to asset. To the ADT asset. How do I store F asset map chunk? Looks like I store the height data and the normal vectors. Suppose what I could do is build it all up and just store the vertexes. But the indices, that's probably a good thing to do. So let's do that. Let's also have triangles. There. F vector. No, not triangles. Vertices. So these are, going to say where, okay. Vertices tell us where all the points are. Indices tell us the order of the polygons. So B indices equals A dot VI indices. Include utilities dot H. I don't need that. T array F vector. And then read data. Copy, come down here, paste. And the reason we're doing it this way is so I can just straight up ignore everybody. Alright, all verts plus equals 12. So this will be float now, because we're getting float values. F vector a dot x equals delete that. Oh, z y a dot invert dot z equals negative a dot z. Add a little function of my own right there. Vertices push A. There we go. Fairly simple. I don't know why it keeps having problems with offset expecting. Alright, let's just build this. Hopefully it will fix that. Meanwhile, let's come up here to ADT asset and make sure B dot vertices equals A dot BT vertices. And apparently we're having some troubles. Undo. Oh yeah. VI and VT. That makes you happy? I'm not seeing any problems. Oh, signed, unsigned issue, huh? Fine. Doesn't have to be signed anyways. And now, give me your values. What? Use of undefined chunk. Oh. That was supposed to be move T. That'd be why. Oh, you know what? I also need to come in here. Move T. Move T. And, oh, no. Move T. There we go. Now this should work. Okay, success. So, once we reload the asset, we should have the vertices, and then we just have to build the mesh data function. And it should actually be able to get us a mesh. Right, delete that. We import Goldshire from Wrath of the Lich King. Found it in a whole bunch of chunks. Let's save it and open it up. Now, I've already imported the texture, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. Group files data. Hull. That's a lot of indices. Nice. Did I scale up the data in this? And when did I do that? Get mesh, get water mesh, generate mesh. Generate mesh data. Here we are. Okay, it looks like I rescale it here. Okay. So one of the things we'll do is, we'll actually hide that information. I don't think I actually keep that information. Well, the height data is visible anywhere. All right. I do not make the whole data information visible. I suppose I could just do that, and that would make that data just a little bit easier to read. Don't have to worry about whole bunches of stuff. Alright. Okay, so let's just start get mesh data, huh? Let's come out here to private. And that's actually where I'm going to come in here. And grab this. Create an implementation. To literally just copy the code that I have here. Alright, so this is just making sure that that I have data. Now in this particular instance, we're going to want to double check group files. If group files num is less than or equal to 0. WMO asset. No data to build from. That's literally what we need. Yep. Regenerate. And I think WoW asset has a... No, it does not. Woof. Woof. You know, I could just put this into the other file. And I'm going to call this protected. That just makes things a little bit easier. Okay. I'm able to generate mesh data. Perfect. All right. All right, generate mesh data. Let's do the same check again, which in this case, group files, num. So, if group files num is less than or equal to 0, we'll just come up here and steal the same response. And return. Come on, I can type it. I swear I can type. Oh yeah, I'm bear shit tapping. Alright, let's put that off to the side so I can reference it. Steal from it when needed. Alright. Alright, so for well, let's go for the groups. Boy, you went 32. G equals 0. G is less than num groups. G plus plus. WMO group file. Group data equals group files G. Oh, I gotta add mesh data, right? Formats model object. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Alright, where was I? Oh, yeah. Alright, well, let's just straight up do this. Actually... No. I know what I'm doing. Alright. I think. Group data. Now I want the internal, the stuff that we generated. Group files data. Yeah. WMO group data. Vertices. Vertices. Append. Okay. We'll add normals later. We might actually have to end up going through this a little bit, but no, we should just be able to just straight up do that. Oh, wait. No, we actually do have to process it. For you and 32 v equals 0, v is less than num vertices add vertices v times yards to centimeter. Okay, group data. Indices. All right. For, let's just copy that. Plus equals 3. It really needs to be I. Okay, so mesh data, triangles, add, point counter, plus group indices, I, plus 0. Plus 2, plus 1. And we'll flip that if things seem wrong. Point counter plus equals num vertices. Yeah, num vertices. Okay, so after we generate, what then? Get water mesh, get mesh data. Okay, so it looks like that's pretty much done for the asset. So now we'd have to move to the actor, which I don't think we really do much with right now. At least not for WMOs. All right. Let us work on the WMO actor. New function. Call in editor. Void generate mesh. That was just an easy one. That, close that, close that, close that. Okay, we have create landscape. Here we're just going to generate a procedural mesh for right now. So if WMO source equals null pointer return. Yeah, no point in working if we don't have anything to work with. All right. If the mesh data is empty, WMO actor. Alright. Alright, so here we actually need to come in here and actually create a new asset functionality. Or rather a new, subcomponent. Which means we need to come up here. We're actually going to have that, visible at all times on this. We're not going to swap things out easily. Close this. We've done a whole bunch of code. Let's see how much of it works. Haha, failure. All right. Ah, yes, that would help. It would help if we had, the procedural mesh component actually in the scene. And, we might need conversion and stuff later, but I think for right now that's sufficient. Oh, we also need model object formats. Might need to find in WoW versions. Alright, let's build that. I suppose one thing we'll have to work on with our procedural mesh set, our mesh data, is actually setting it up for multiple materials. We haven't really had to do that yet. I'm looking at some candy I have. During October, I like having a big bag of candy, really. Why does this not have the... It seems weird, but okay. So world model object / WMO asset. There we go. Is that going to make you happy? I don't know why they went with int rather than uint. At what point would the number ever be negative? Maybe if there's an error. Oh, by the way, enjoy the background behind me while you can. This is probably going to be the last night you see it. After I did a whole bunch of moving of stuff in the middle area, so I can actually swap everything all around. So it's going to be basically the same setup, but in a tighter, smaller corner. And that camera is actually going to be over here, so you're going to be seeing me more at like a 2/3 angle. So I'll be looking forward and then have to look up to talk to you guys like that. So. Alright. Compile completed. Let's see how this works. Meanwhile, I'm going to grab a handful of candy corn. Not too many, though. If I have too many, it's going to make things worse for everything. I do enjoy it, though. Alright. So, WMO Actor. That is huge. Alright. I might want to modify it a bit. It is close to a blueprint. Generate mesh. Error, cannot get mesh data. No data to build from? What? You absolutely have data. Oh, wait. Yeah. Come on. I haven't been able to change my background in over 2 years. Waiting for the goddamn pandemic to end. But it's over. No, it's not. Just look at TwitchCon. Apparently, they had a massive COVID-19 outbreak. Because, you know, they were like, oh, COVID's over, so we can relax our and no. Just because it's not at the forefront of every news cycle doesn't mean it's gone away. Hell, if that was the reason it had gone away, I wouldn't have got it when I went to Disneyland. Well, actually, I caught it from my ex-mother-in-law. Who caught it from a patient of hers. So, yeah, she was already infected before we were going down. We were all traveling together. Separate cars, but still. So, she caught it, gave it to us. So, there I was, sick of the dogs in Disney World. Alright. WO. Huh? Look at that. Alright, the data's wrong. That should not be an issue. Alright, I'm gonna actually negative there. Yeah, luckily that. So it looks like the... Alright, I am definitely... Yeah. What you're seeing, covering everything, that's collision data. That's why the stairs are both... Yeah. Yeah, these big kegs are covered in collision. Alright, more than likely... More than likely that's because we did some trickery. But that's just we got this section working good. Let's I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do separating by materials. All right, save. Save all. Good. All right, close. So WoW asset. Don't need that. We don't need those for right now. Don't need the actor. I need the WMO asset. There you are. So I got that right. That's the good news. Okay, so it's looking like I actually got this wrong. So what happens if I just do this correctly? Just straight up XYZ. There's a good chance it will just work. At which point we have to refactor, the model object so that it accepts multiple materials. It's like I want to make this a T array of T arrays. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Boop, boop. Alright, good. For some reason, I just suddenly had a sneaking suspicion that there was no voice recording happening, and that just kind of worried me for a moment. Okay, yeah, if I turn triangles into a map, where I put a material ID number, and then, UINT for the triangles, that would probably work better. Although what I'd probably need to do is do a new setup that's triangles and normals and probably UVs all in one. And the vertex colors. So basically everything but vertices would have to be inside a new array function. Oh. Ah, god damn it. Okay, how do they do it? I don't know, because that changed! Alright. Let's delete that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to change that color. It's just way too close to blueprint blue. Alright, generate mesh. Okay, well. That's definitely still backwards. But it looks like it's still negative y. Okay. Don't save. So, AY equals negative AY. Who knows if any other numbers need to be converted. I mean, I suppose I could do it that, you know, no. That could work. Yeah, that could work actually quite well. Okay, so it looks like the way they do the materials would actually translate over here pretty well. Except... No, that wouldn't work. It would work if we're not trying to... We need to... shit. Do I want to break this up into group and then material? Or do I want to leave this global and then assign materials? For to make it more one-to-one for World of Warcraft, I probably need to be able to break this up into groups and then from there into materials. Oh, wait, do I need to import that? Yeah, I think I need to import that. Alright, generate. Well, that's right, but all the polygons are inverted. So, which brings me actually to a question. I place WMOs, and this gets parented to that. Transform parents attached to. Right click, attach to Goldshire in, reset, reset. Alright. So this should be parented to that, yep. Which means we are definitely getting wrong data. So, looks like X and Y need to be flipped. So that will fix the inversion. So that needs to be that. That needs to be that. And that would make this negative. I think. Actually, you know what? It's just easier to do this. Huh. I thought of that, but, you know, I didn't think of it. I thought of that, but you know, I thought, you know, no, I did it the other way for a reason. And that reason is, I don't know. All right, let's struct f mesh element. Mesh data element. All right, so let's just grab all this. Material ID. Which I think is basically what we're looking at, yeah. Actually, no. Mesh data material element. Group data. Material. Data. No, this needs to be data, mesh data element. That's just going to be easier. Then it will be UNT32. Material ID. Group ID. Not really going to need that, but model data, material data. Group data. Oh, wait. No, I want to keep that. So we have the vertices, and then underneath there we got group data, which is how we group everything up by that. And then under there is material data, which then has all of the actual model data. Which basically screws us over a lot. It's like groups within groups within groups. I mean, honestly, I could probably just come in here and make this a map. Mesh. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely rework this now. All right. All right. Mesh data. Material data. Section. Uint 32. Section equals just do this. Mesh data. actually, do I need that? Oh. No, I don't. There we go. Okay, that fixes this. Now to fix the the ADD asset. Actually, that one should be rather simple. I can just go, you know, A, Bueller, Bueller. Come on, let me switch over. Oh, it's over here. I was like, why is it taking so long? Oh, wait. I need the asset, don't I? Frack. There's the asset. Well, actually, I'm going to need these two. But no. There we are. Okay, mesh data. Group data. 0. Material data. Is that right? Is that right? No, it's not. God damn. All right, let's just grab this. We'll deposit that and switch that out to 0 because that's all it's ever going to be for this guy. Gotta get this water mesh done too. Alright. So that deals with the reading. Now we gotta work on the generation. So, start with mesh data since that'll be easier. F mesh data material. Mesh data material. Material ID equals 0. Mesh data group. Group ID equals 0. Material data. Add. Actually, let's come up here. Mesh data, group data, add, that better? That's better. All right. Yeah, the vertices are still added by, the loop, by the top one. And that is added right there. Okay, I think that covers that. Okay, got that. Okay, got the triangles. I guess that was it. All right. So I guess we solved that. All right. Let's come back here to this, because now we have to work with all this. group ID equals... Actually, let's... There. Don't even care. Okay, so here's actually where we'd want to, oh. Okay. We need to go through the material data first. So that means we need the material chunk, which is Mopey. Where are you, Mopey? Reload all. There's Mopey. And hello, Mopey. Q list to T array. Well, actually, let's... I can scoot that up. All right, let's grab Mopey. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we advanced by 2. So first thing we do is we get a poly flag. So uint 8 fi equals get value uint 8. Well, actually, I could probably do this as get poly flag, couldn't I? Oh, not there. There. You know what? No. That's just probably a better idea. Push F. All right. Uint 8. We'll go 32. And we'll call this M. Actually, 255 materials. That makes sense. Actually, it's probably 254, considering, you know, FF. But still, as a limit per section, per group, that makes total sense. So that is going to be another get value of uint8. Material IDs, push back, or just push in this case, M. All right. All right. I actually do have to bring the group back. PY. Let's copy, paste, down. Moppy chunk header. Actually, it's just moppy chunk. Dun 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 dun. Oh. Material data. Probably int would be the best thing to do. We'll go uint8. Well, actually, we can just go material ID. Z. E material IDs equals A. PY material IDs. Which means I now need to come in here and add PY. So now I can come down here and try and figure out how to get this to work again. You know what? Before I forget, let's close that. Probably the best thing to do. No. No. F mesh data material. Okay, F map uint 8 T array int uint 32. Material map indices map. That should be okay. All right. Let me load up this. I want to see how I get the materials. Okay. Group data. Material IDs num. Okay, so I get the material IDs that way. But then what do I do with them? Let me look at the generate function. Find build object. Here we are. For group names, grab the group names, points, yep. Points work fine. Now I go through the materials. Oh, no, wait, no, those are the... Mati chunk. How am I going through the Mati chunk? Or Monty, I should say. Oh, wait, that's a parent group. Okay, never mind. Looks like this is just trying to build things. Alright, so okay, so does this not have FMAP? Okay. Include well, it should actually. FMAP. Okay, why did it work somewhere else then? Yeah, it worked in here, didn't it? No, it didn't work in here. It worked in here. I used this recently. Yeah, right there. T-map, not F-map. If contains, if it does not contain, group material IDs I, add group material IDs all right. So, what we want to do, the mat IDs, I, not I, just I. You went 32, mat ID equals that. You went T array so what we want is add. That. One and two. Do I want that there? Yeah, I do. All right. So 4, and I know I did this recently too in the utilities. Right there. Don't need that. 4. Compare the matrices in this map. All right. Mesh, data, material. F mesh data material. Mesh data material. Material ID equals 0. No. Pair E. MDM. Triangles? Yeah, I think this is triangles. Append pair value. Now I'll just do append just in case they're... Actually, no, it should just be add. Or equals. There we go. Material data. Add that. Okay. Whew, I think I did this. I think I did this right. If net ID equals 255, continue. Skip collision mesh. All right. Let's see just how badly I did this. If it's going to explode. It exploded almost immediately. UNT32 is not supported by Blueprint? What? Oh, do I have to do int32? I had a hot reload there? I can never remember. Whoa. Cancel. Yeah, I can just make that. That's an easy. So, with luck, this means that we will now be able to assign... Okay. Point counter redefinition. What? Oh. There. With luck, this means that, you know, we'll have not only I don't want to say reverted. Not only will we have refactored our whole group material system that will actually let us, you know, create multiple materials in a dynamic mesh sense, but it also means that our system will now support multiple materials, and our old system will still function. I hope. We did a lot of work, and I don't know how much of it's going to succeed. But just the fact that the building imported just made me so happy. And now we're getting some material information, if only to realize that there are multiple materials. Alright. Can I just import over? Failed to re-import. I gotta figure out what the problem with that is. Alright. And you... Okay, I'm getting tons of spam now for the, hey, look what we found! So let's come in here. I can turn these off. I'm going to leave that on. So I should probably go through here to the these guys and turn those off. It is doing PY? Yes, it is. Sometimes saving these asset actors just takes a while. Ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Ay 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 ay. Okay, let's see if this works. Oh, crash. What did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? What? Array out of index. No, no, no. 409 on the WMO actor or asset. I think it's the asset. Close those. 409. Oh. What? Why? $108 from a rate index of 107. There should be an equal number of indices and materials. Am I wrong about that? Info for triangles, which are the vertices, correct? Not the indices. No, this would do it. And let me double check my other code. Yay! Alright, for the polygon data, okay, so indices is polygon data. So it would be I divided by 3? Yeah, that might be the best option. Alright. Oh well. Yeah, actually 3 divided by 3 is probably going to be the correct answer. Because it's by triangle and there are 3 indices per triangle. The alternative is I start a collection of polygons and then figure out materials. Okay, I made that with the assets. So. Uh-oh. Okay. I shouldn't have to reload that. It should just work. Come on. Alright. So yeah, it crashed. Oh no, it just minimized. Alright. Let's generate mesh. Crash? it's just frozen. Alright. Might have to figure out something else. Oh, finally updated. Hey, look at that. It's actually facing the right direction, but it's still inverted. It's backwards in more than one way. So Y actually needs to be inverted now. Okay. Well, what happens if I do that? Wait a second. Okay, so I need that, but I also need that? Is that accurate? Oh, should close this. It also looked like it did actually process the whole thing. It's just I'm not certain how it worked because, you know, I don't know if it was frozen beforehand or what. We'll see if everything looks correct. Generate. Is this just taking a while because it's the new system? It might. Here's what I'm wondering. Should I make the materials specific to each mesh? Okay, well, there we go. That's still inverted. If I invert the scale... Alright, well, not Y. So that must mean the X. Oh, you know what? I forgot. With that, I have to actually do a re-import. Should not have done that. Oh well. I could have this import so much easier if I just did it as one mesh rather than a group mesh. I don't know about easier, but well, actually, yeah, easier. But if I just broke it up by material, it'd probably be a lot better. But the problem with that is when we get to the phase where we're getting larger WMOs, like cities. I mean, yeah, modern day computers could easily handle, these assets, all at once. But the problem is, when we get to upscaling, we're going to want to be able to, turn some off in order to increase performance. Or, have the game be able to shut off those meshes because increased performance. In reality, this is 11 different meshes. And we're going to break them apart into the blueprint as 11 different meshes. But each mesh needs to have multiple materials capabilities. So, how do we get around the long time frames for generating mesh? The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm thinking just import as a goddamn regular mesh. Saving these external actors just takes so long. And I have no idea why. Now that we actually have the WMO actor, we could probably replace the the temp placement blueprint. At least for the WMOs. Alright. So we'll see how this turns out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that one open. Alright, that was better. Well, the good news is by doing this way, we're not, with the vertices at the top level, we're not duplicating that information throughout all of them. But maybe we should. Rather than keeping the vertices all as one. Oh shit, that's probably what the problem is. It's seeing each individual group mesh as a single mesh. But it's taking the vertices from here, so it's copying... Oh, fuck. It's copying the vertices for literally everything into every single mesh. Thought I was being smart and clever. Apparently not. Well, at this point, what's the difference between, this and this? Well, except we need multiple groups. Alright, well, that change. The change now means we got to go through here and make some alterations. Yes, through here, I believe. Alright, save to that. Come up here. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. So fine, we'll just do straight verts.add. We'll come down here. MDM. Vertices equals verts. Yeah, there we go. Jeez, man. Come on. Yeah, mesh data material vertices. That looks right. Okay, so there's that. And we have the ADTs. That's not done too. So not much I can do right now until Unreal Engine decides it wants to cooperate and actually save. I suppose we could kill it. Yeah, that's not responding. It's processing, but I don't think it's actually doing anything. So kill it. Kill it with fire. Let's build a new one. This will likely work a lot better. Won't be like 10 of them. mesh data. Just copy that. Copy that. Gotta make sure I do the water one too. So, materials. Let's actually take a quick look at how they are in here. Oh. Undeclared identifier. Oh, yes. Okay. 0, 0, 0, 0. Correct? Yeah, I think so. Hmm. Okay. So yeah, we're definitely going to want to set it per object. So. Because, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it actually is going to change based on, you know, a number of things. So, you know, I was thinking, well, we could just make it one per texture. No, it doesn't work that way. Because, you know, the same texture is used multiple times in different ways. Alright. Delete that. Import. Come down here. Set that to that. Generate mesh. Okay. Okay, looks like Y needs to be -1. Which will flip things. So I know exactly what the problem with all that is. Because we changed how things work, we no longer need no longer need the offset of point counter. Alright, so we're going to zero those out. Alright. Build. Forces materials textures to use clamp S addressing. Texture addressing. Okay, by default, textures use WMO materials are assigned an address. Clamp S and clamp T can override this for the S and T dimensions, respectively. I'm assuming they mean U and V. Lighting related. Side N. Bright at night, unshaded. Darken, intern. Alright. Two-sided. Ooh, nice. Shader types. So this is more than likely going to fail, but it's not going to be as bad as it was just a moment ago. The fact that it moved a lot faster last time was actually kind of... And this... And now it just works perfectly. Perfect music. We did it, we did it, we did it, we did it. Oh. Oh. No, this one deserves to be saved. Okay. Okay, this means we can actually start work on doing stuff like material texturing. I can close that. I don't need that. Don't need that, don't need that. We have successfully rebuilt our system. It seems to grab everything. We can even probably, you know, generate this to static meshes now. Pretty simply. Now, I do believe that there are vert colors on this, so that might be something to work on next. I do want to investigate the materials. There's got to be a way to identify if a texture uses something for specular or not. Do we have Mom Tea anywhere in here? Doesn't look like it. Alright. Automatically adds the shadow name of the second texture. Okay, well, we got some flags. Do not attenuate vertices. Huh? Sorry, I'm taking a moment to read up all the various updates to the material chunk. And we're waiting for waiting for this to save anyways. Okay, so WMO shader metadata. Hmm. Texture, coordinate count, color count. Two-layer diffuse. Oh, this is a fascinating read, but I'm also confused by it. Hmm. Okay. So, what about material creation? Okay. So, all right. Let's start coming in here. And we need to be able to make new assets for materials. Maybe the easy, or I won't say the easiest, maybe the best way to go about this is to actually have a brand new, class. That's it, just materials. I don't know if I'd actually put that under the formats, but that's probably would be closest. I guess we come up to, well, actually, one second. Let me take a look at something. I'm smelling fire. Well, no, that's not true. I'm smelling smoke. Alright. Looks like it's coming from outside. So I don't have to evacuate the house. At least there's that. Alright. Let's take a look at... Alright. Gonna go through ADTs real quick. Trying to remember. No. Normal. Texture layer definitions. Here we are. No. I mean, that seemed correct. Sound emitters. I would like to get to the sound emitters. That'd be fun. Because most, systems don't have a reason to import them. We do. Array of flags. For M. Cly. Alright. Yeah, this is probably it. Alright. What I'm basically doing is I'm trying to determine if I can do a one-stop fits all, or if I need to create a specific one set up for, ADTs, a specific one for WMOs, and a specific one for M2s. My guess is I'll have to have a specific one for each one, because they all have different material setups. Alright, so this is the material layers. Well, oh, vertex shading. Oh, okay. Terminology, map size, yes. Header, MSIMs, textures, doodads. I'll be honest, I'm getting really tired because I haven't stayed up this late in quite a while, actually. Okay, ADT is looking pretty different from WMOs. Let's see about M2s. Because doing something bespoke for, the terrain, that makes sense. It's very different. Oh shit, I have no idea where to even start looking. Geometry and rendering. LODs, render flags, M2 materials, just flags in a blending mode. There's gotta be more to it than that. Colors and transparency. Textures. Texture types. Yeah, that's about building the characters setups. It's going to be interesting. What just happened? Oh, yeah, that. All right. Types, blah, 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 blah. Versions. Events. Attachments. We can make sockets. That could be fun. All right. All right, now to here we are. I had to go back quite a ways to find any data that might actually send me where I need to go. And I am not finding it. I am not finding anything that might suggest materials. Vertices has texture coordinates. LODs, we don't need to worry about those. Render flags, maybe. I mean, they're basically saying that, you know, this is a material, it's just a bunch of flags and blending modes. Blending disabled, mod, decal, add, mod 2, fade, deep run tram glass. Opaque, yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like I probably need to make a special one for each version, so didn't really want to do that. So, on the other hand, yeah, they're just all treated so differently. I mean, M2s are basically non-existent for shaders. It's just use the textures and maybe modify a blend mode. ADTs are nuts. How's our... okay, good. ADTs are nuts because this one block contains 225 or 256 different materials. You know, 16 times 16. Each block contains, contains basically its own material with its own layering system. So, you know, you can either try and figure out how to do a whole material, a single material for each one that, you know, respects that, or you can just do a separate one for each, you know, for each block and just have, you know, 256 for each ADT file. And even then, it's not a whole lot of, you know, material setup. And then the WMOs seem to have the most detail and the most setup. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, it's probably the problem with the. I'm trying to think. You know, why is this turning out like this, and that is turning out like that? And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking it's the UVs. So, I'm trying to remember which one's the UVs. Probably MVU UV. So we're gonna have to definitely dig into the materials. And I think more than likely I'm going to build, well, I don't know. The smart thing to do would be to build a new material setup for, system for each. Well, no, the smart thing to do would be to figure out a, global material build that I could use to cover all creation of all of it, and then, plug it in as necessary. Starting with WMO materials is probably the best spot for that. However, because all of them have such specific setups, doing a separate material setup for each one in terms of code, and then trying to homogenize it at that level may end up being the best option. All right. That's the indices. Those are the normals. Ah, there we are. TV. Copy. Paste. I'm going to set these other to be added. Generate. What's Moo UV? No idea. Not even seeing it listed so far. Yep, not seeing it listed. Oh, no, wait, there it is. It's a Legion one. It's for translating, yeah, it's for moving texture layers on a WMO. All right. Well, for the moment, let's just refresh. Come in the chair. Go to TV. Make sure that's open. We'll come here to Pi. Well, actually, probably VT would be a better one to do. All right. So, T array. F vector 2D F vec 2D F 2D 32-bit integer. Alright, tell it to do that. Include utilities. .h. There you go. Now it's finding it. Alright, vector 2h. Plus and equals y. Alright, so that'd be x and then y. And then a dot y equals negative a dot y plus 1.0 f. And then UV chords push. And that swaps it around. Perfect. So now we can come over here to the group file. What is the order for that? All right, TV is after VT. All right. Okay, got that reading. Now we'll come over here. F vector 2D UVs. B UVs equals A TV UV coordinates. Now that does not need to be yards to metered. MD UV1 or 0 equals UVs Wait, wasn't there something in the header? I feel like there was something in the header. Okay. That's actually worth digging into. We haven't seen one yet, but it would really help to get this set up. You know what? Yeah, probably the best way to do this. T array. I'll call that chunks. Oh, you know what? Not that. That's the wrong one. Alright, here we go. T array. Alright, so now we'll come in here. MOTV chunks. Add. There. So now it doesn't matter how many there are. We can still do it. Dereference? There we go. All right. So let's head back to group asset. Yeah. T array of arrays. All right. There we go. UVs equals T chunk. There we go. Yeah, that should be good. All right. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Okay, so we're going to have to do some finagling here. For int u equals 0, u is less than num u plus plus. Add u. Component. You know, maybe I should just straight up there. Now I don't do that. UV quartz. There. What are we doing here? Let's close this. I want to build and see how we do. Nested containers are not supported. Why not? Okay. So this is how I get around that little error. X equals UV chord, UV lists, chords, UV chords. Okay, I don't need to do that at all. Append UV chords. Let's just build this. It'll probably crash. Yeah, UV list must. Oh, UV list must be a type. Okay. Who's next? Oh. What now? What now, brown cow? What? Oh. All right. So let's come down here. Chunks. U. Okay, anything else it's having a problem with? Couldn't see. Hey, look, there's a problem down here. Switch. V. Case 0. Break. UV0. No, UV's 0. 1, 2, and 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm actually going to say case 0 is also the default. Well, actually, doesn't that mean I have to put that at the end? Alright. Copy. Paste. Two. 1. UV 0. If UV is 1, num is greater than 1, or greater than 0 actually. One. Do. There we go. 1, 2, 2, 3. All right. I hope I did that right. Fingers crossed. Whew. It's getting late. I'm tired. Sugar high. No. No. We're going to see how this does. Hopefully we can get it to function, and then I think we'll call it a night. Gotta move back into this a little slow. But using this, it should be fairly simple for us to just have a functioning UV system. Gotta delete that. Import. Oh, crash. Okay, what's going on here? Group 81. Oh. Equals new TRA movie channel. Alright, did I do anything else with... No, I did not. What was the other one that could go into multiples, though? Mach V. I don't even remember which one Mach V is. Well, it is one that we have listed here. Still not sure what it is. But we'll just do this to get ready for it. Colors. Vertex colors. That's what they are. I mean, without even looking at it, I can almost guarantee you that's what they were. Stop that. Stop that. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Yeah, vertex colors. All right. All right. Insert Goldshire. Okay. Save that. So that's that. And let's see if this fixes the UVs. With luck it will. I mean, the generate function, it was definitely working better than, you know, when it was, hey. We've got textures, Got UVs. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alright, so we've got the UVs. Which means our next step is getting... yeah, you know what? I want to save this level. We're going to end up right freaking here again. Our next step is actually get the material system up and running. Which is going to be probably the focus of, you know, our next time. I'm really tired. I want to go to bed. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to work on this in between now and when we stream again on Friday, because I'll be moving my whole rig and my whole background over there, and then moving all of that stuff over here. I'm going to have less room to stream with, but you know, I've got like way too much right now. I originally set it up over here so I could do a lot of VR stuff, but honestly, I have not done a lot of VR stuff lately. I mean, it kind of shows, but you know, over there I'll still be able to do VR. Just, you know, I won't have the wide area to walk around and go, wow, what's all this? Oh, look, I'm going to touch something over here. Oh, look, I'm going to touch something over here. No, I won't be able to do that. I'll have standing room and maybe a little bit of walking room, but, you know, it's basically the difference between my desk and the wall behind me, which will be about the back of my chair right now. I mean, in truth, you know, this whole system's going to be moved over this way, so it'll be swapped, but yeah. Yeah, right about here. Yeah, the back of my chair is pretty much flush with this wall, and that's actually where the computer is going to be. And these shelves are going to be in the corner, which is actually where the table is flushed against the wall right now. So we'll have this nice little corner to work with. I'll be going, hi guys, yeah. When in truth, you'll probably be more like that, going, rah, 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 rah. Yeah. Oh man, I'm having so much fun. Are you guys enjoying this? Yeah. So that's kind of more of how it's likely going to end up being. Anyways, hope you all had fun. This has definitely been... We got WMOs to meshes to import with, a lot of their information. We still have to do things like vertex colors. We got to get the materials in here. The textures are going. But being able to... And I think I definitely want to be able to import this as multiple meshes, or alternatively as a single mesh. I don't know which would be the preference. It might actually be something I might have a generate button that gives you the option, or I'll have an option in whatever has the generate button. At any rate, that's it for tonight. Thank you all for coming. I will see you Friday, and hopefully in the new setup. If not, the background's going to be very barren. Maybe I'll have my table there, but not my things. But they should be there. I should be able to get all of it moved, hopefully tomorrow. And if not, part of Friday. Good night, everybody.